Okay, very good. Today it's number 42. Concerning good and evil alike, I know nothing at all. Moral standards vary with time and place. In Japan, it's worse to be labeled a thief than a coward. But in the United States, coward bears a greater stigma. In Japan, a punch is worse punishment than a slap. But in the West and in southern countries, a slap is more humiliating. A man who expanded his nation's territory used to be hailed as a hero, but in modern times, such a person is reviled as an invader. Not long ago, raising a large family was a patriotic virtue, but nowadays, large families are generally frowned on. In the words of Shinran, concerning good and evil alike, I know nothing at all, from the book Lamenting the Deviations, Tannisho. Okay, very good. Yeah, this is one of the most profound and mysterious statement by Master Shinran, the founder of Pure Land Shin School of Buddhism in Japan. And it shows the state of the mind that has been liberated from, what we call self-power, from self-power, and constantly being obsessed with good and evil. So I think at the beginning of our spiritual journey, maybe we are kind of obsessed with good and evil because we get fed up with the evil in the world. We hear it could be natural disasters, it could be shootings, it could be anything, corruption in politics, things like that. We get fed up. And I think for me too, that's how I started looking for the answers because I felt it's not right the way things were happening. Yeah, because we label them as good and evil. And then we suffer silently, we suffer in our mind. We have this feeling of helplessness, chagrin, just, uh, yeah, we feel mortified, doesn't feel good inside. So it's a good sign in a sense at the beginning of our spiritual journey. I think that's how we all start pursuing or seeking the answers. That's a starting point. It's very good. Yeah. But then as we go forward on our spiritual journey, we learn about the law of cause and effect, which is the foundation of Buddhism, which states seeds planted will never fail to grow, and seeds not planted will never grow. We become more and more aware of this universal law of cause and effect. So we begin to see it's not a matter of good and evil. We label things good and evil. It just is. If those seeds are planted, this harvest becomes inevitable. Even the Buddha cannot bend or deviate from this law, universal law of cause and effect, which is governing the entire universe. If the cause is there, the effect will follow. That's how science and technology have progressed so much, because we believe things are not happening randomly or by chance. Yeah. So that's one thing about it that liberates us from that feeling of constantly judging people, looking down on others, and then feeling hypocritical because we do end up catching ourselves. Oops, I did it too. And I was judging them. And we hear that inner voice, how foolish of me, the more honest we become with ourselves. So it's a lot of confusing and mixed emotions that trouble and torment us every day. It's a good thing because without the confusion there is no clarity. Yeah, we are being honest with ourselves, we are confronting this truth of why do I feel the way I do. Yeah, yesterday I was talking with a good friend and she told me all the sufferings in the world, all these bad things that people think it's happening, it's because people don't know who they are. And it really touched my heart the way she said it. It's all because people don't know who they are. So we constantly judge others and then we suffer. And yeah, but this moral standards, as it says, it vary with time and place. Yeah, it varies. So, like the examples here, let's see. Yeah, like, yeah, these days, if a country wants to expand their territory, they're considered as an invader. In the past, because nationalism was so high, people would be like, yeah, we are expanding our nation at the expense of others. It changes which one was good, which one is bad. So it's ultimately it's up to each single individual to look in their own hearts. Um, yeah. And in a sense, all people are being guided by the compassion of the Buddha to happiness that holds us fast and never to abandon us. All people. And if we see people who are doing unwholesome acts, that's of course a very sad situation. We have to become a good condition for them to help them get out of that darkness. But ultimately speaking, it's up to their karma. We cannot forcefully change them. Um, so, if they've had parents who didn't know any better and grandparents who were always, how some families they're dysfunctional, they're always yelling at each other, they're fighting and arguing. You don't feel or see much love or compassion or understanding. Sitting down and just listen. Let me hear you out why you're struggling with this. Let me try to understand this. You don't see that. It's just like pointing finger at each other, blaming each other. That kind of a dysfunctional family. So why do we expect the children to be very different? That's all they see and they learn. Of course, some of us, I think, might have been raised in such dysfunctional families, and yet, because of the ties we've had with the Buddha from past lives, we've been able to rise above it. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. We are very grateful for that. But not everyone has had that blessing. So they're going through the unfolding of this karma. So why do we expect them to be any different and judge them as evil or whatever names that make us create unwholesome karma for ourselves? So to be able to cultivate this level of flexibility in the mind, that we are not sure if something is absolutely good or absolutely evil, and this becomes a good mindset to go forward. However, uh, the only thing that we can say perhaps is absolutely good is what benefits everybody, just like Buddha's compassion. Yeah, Buddha's compassion does not take side. So, but we are not at that level yet. We are aiming for the enlightenment of a Buddha. So, to be able to even imitate that level of compassion and wisdom of the Buddha, that's very good for us. So, yeah, so there is more to this, but I think just to remember this phrase concerning good and evil alike, I know nothing at all, especially in everyday matters when we see people, it helps us not judge them as good or evil and be able to understand karma, how deep rooted it is, and how can we become a good condition for them. So we pay forward all the blessings that we have been receiving. Okay, very good. Today is Wednesday. We're going to have the Karma Lab at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And have a wonderful hump day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Gary.